Alright, so we're out at Cherokee Park for a cruise today. I'm actually going to try and put down a heater. This is my 5th day of riding straight, and I got a chill day tomorrow with a couple buddies that have never ridden before, so try and get a little workout in today and rant a little bit, I guess. Or I don't know what else to do. I don't have a whole lot of important shit to talk about, I guess, but okay. We're out cruising. I guess I could talk about what I'm riding. I'm on my Ripmo. I haven't really talked about this bike yet, I guess, with the channel. I bought this bike beginning of 21. Moved up from a Mojo HD4 to this, so this is my second Ibis. And I loved my HD4, but I rode my dad's Ripmo, which is like the exact same bike, same bug zapper blue and everything. Not by choice, that's just what was available in my size at the time. We are dealing with the COVID bike crisis, so you kind of get what you get. But I rode his and immediately fell in love and had to have one, so now I'm on one. I kind of got bitten by the 27.5 bug with my first full suspension bike, which was a Fuji. I couldn't even tell you what it was now. It's been a while ago. It was actually a pretty good bike for what it was. I upgraded it and made it a one by and all kinds of stuff. It got me through for about a year and a half, but I was starting to override it. And I was having some braking issues and stuff was breaking on me all the time. I had to move up, and Sean over at N1 got me a good deal. Anyway, Sean over at N+1 Bikes got me a good deal on that HD4 I had, and I rode it for I think a year. It was a medium and felt like I may have needed to go up a size, but it's, again, that was right at the start of all the COVID bullshit, so I didn't want to pass it up. It was such a good deal. It was my first carbon bike, and it was an awesome bike. Jumped like an absolute dream, and it was really well kitted out. Had Fox Factory 36 grip 2 on the front, and DPX2 on the rear with XT drivetrain. Really good shifting bike. I love that bike. But when you start cleaning stuff on a 29, you want a 29. And that's what this bike does so well. I mean, these Ripmos are just an absolute monster truck when it comes to big chunky stuff. And it's amazing on the descent as well. Alright, I'm gonna do some heavy breathing and get to the top here. Alright, back to the fun stuff for a second. This thing shreds this kind of stuff. Not that you need this kind of bike for this trail. It's definitely overkill. Thank you, one more. One more. Whew. Hell yeah. So let's get back to talking about this bike. So like I said, this is a Ripmo V2 Carbon. Come around her here. Ripmo V2 Carbon. I guess you would say it's a 21, although I don't think Ibis really does years. Thanks. They just kind of make them. Make them until they change something. And when I built this bike, I wanted to say, well, I had a budget from the wifey, shall we say, and I had to stay with that. So instead of jumping on the XT drivetrain, I actually went with SLX. And first I wasn't too sure about the SLX, being used to the XT on my Mojo. Just didn't, at first, I don't know if one broke in. Uh-oh. Excuse me, sorry. Hey buddy. Wasn't sure about the SLX at first. It just wasn't as clean. But once it got more in, it started to work better, and now it works really good. Either I'm used to it, or which is possible, I guess, or it's just kind of gotten worn in where it works good now after having, you know, better half of us, or I guess maybe 3/4 of a season on it by now. But it works great. So I went with an SLX build there. I do have quad piston Shimano brakes. Although they are Dior, not SLX, but they work really good. They honk a little sometimes, so I skimped there on the build, but still really good. You know, Shimano stuff's always good, and they perform great. I ride, you know, decently hard and 3-4 times a week, so they get lots of use, and they've held up great. I've got no complaints. They're strong. Good brakes for the money. And in the suspension department, I actually had the option. I could have went either way with the Fox factory, which is what I was used to. I had on my Mojo, or I could try this DVO out, which is what the bike is spec'd with, DVO, front and rear. And I really kind of had to think about that one, because if I'm being honest, I didn't care for the Fox on my Mojo. I would say if there was one thing that I had a complaint about, it was that it, no matter how I adjusted it, I couldn't get the initial firmness or rigidity, chattery feeling to go away on like high-speed choppy stuff, like right here. I mean, it would have rattled my teeth out, so I didn't like that. But DVO to me was kind of like an unknown, but in the sake of saving money, saving $200, Sean over at M+1, he convinced me to try the DVO out. It's had good reviews, and it's actually more adjustable, so So, all right, I'll try it out. And I gotta say, I am in love with this suspension. The DVO, I think it's a Onyx SC DC1, I believe. It's like their top end single crown fork, enduro fork, and it is amazing. I mean, it's got that off the top adjustment on the bottom, and you can soften that way up, which I have, and I mean, it's like riding on pillows. It just soaks things up high speed shop wise that the Fox was not capable of at my spring rate. You know, I'm 215 pounds now. I was heavier when I was on the Fox, maybe about 240. So this is definitely, you know, I'm a little lighter weight, but I will say it's significantly better in that department, and I don't bottom it. I don't miss the Fox at all. Shock does great. I like that it's got the dual air chamber adjustments. More adjustability for me is always good. And it's lighter, from what I understand. Significantly lighter than the Fox that it would compete against. So, yeah, I went with the DVO, and couldn't be happier. The Geo, you know, I thought it was going to be a lot tighter feeling, or I guess, sorry, a lot bigger feeling than the Mojo. Because it is, I mean, it's a lot bigger bike. This is basically an enduro sled, you know. Not that the Mojo wasn't, I guess it also was an enduro bike with 27.5 and a little shorter wheelbase. This thing gets around fine, and all of the single track in here in Cherokee and Seneca, it does it all good. I constantly get PRs on it. I mean, it's just, it is an performing amazingly well in the performance department. Was that a complete sentence? Jesus Christ. It performs amazingly well. How about that? All right, we trekked across the asphalt over here to Seneca, and what was I talking about? Geo. I was talking about big Ripmo feel in tight woods. Well, this is it over here. This is right now it's pretty open, but this place gets tight in here, and this is really where I thought that the Ripmo was gonna slow me down or not be able to fit through some of these places, but man, it shocks me. It continues to shock me with just how good it is. And you know, these 29-inch wheels, especially I got big 2.6 tires on it, front and rear. I mean, it just eats up this stuff. No issue. And there's some big chunky climbs in here that the 27.5 Mojo HD, it struggled, I gotta be honest. Fun bike on downhill stuff and on jump trails, but for this kind of stuff, man, I don't know, I'm still team 29, I guess. And I wasn't for a long time, but one ride on my dad's Ripmo and it changed my mind. If that tells you anything. I've got friends that will not ride this bike because they just simply don't want to spend the money on a new bike. I'm telling you, they are that good. I mean, just eat stuff. They just eat big chunky climbs. And it's a big bike. This is not a light bicycle. It's about 31 pounds. But I swear it doesn't feel it. I just absolutely love it. Well, I don't know much more I can really keep you guys on the hook here. If you are still around watching me, I appreciate it. I know I'm a bit long-winded, and I should probably get to the point faster, but I like talking to myself in the woods. This is kind of like my therapy. So anyway, let me get up here. Hey, how's it going? It's always awkward when you pass somebody on the trail and they catch you talking to yourself. I always feel like such a who is there? Anyway, thanks for listening to my ramblings, and if you're thinking about a Ripmo, definitely maybe try and demo one at your local shop, or if you're dead set on one, give Sean a call at M+1 Bikes, and he could get you set up on what you got in stock, or maybe ordering one. I know these things are getting hard to find. I'm pretty sure he ships, so no matter where you are in the US, give him a call. There's a tight spot right there. Ooh, yeah. She fits 800 mil bars. Give him a call and check him out, man. He's a good dude. He loves mountain biking, and he'll treat you right. Anyway, see, I told you I'm long-winded. I can't even end the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And stay tuned. We'll, if you're a moto dude, we'll talk about how Vintage Days went in the next video. All right. I will check you later.